Hey everyone, my name is Danilo Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. Here we are. It's another late night podcast from the Game to Love. It's another late night podcast from the Game to Love podcast, and it is one which is a very important one. It's about Roger Federer withdrawing from 2 tournaments in the lead up to the US Open. The knee injury does not look like it has fixed itself. And he's going to be out on the sidelines again. I'm worried for him with his 40th birthday coming up this weekend. JG, sad times.
It's sad, but it's not like shocking, if you know what I mean. When I saw the news on Twitter, I think firstly I saw the news in the what was it, in the Discord. George put it in the Discord chat, and I saw the news there first. Had a look on Twitter, and I wasn't shocked. I kind of sort of hinted at it the other day when we were talking about the big three entering the upcoming tournaments and how exciting it was going to be. It was inevitable that one was going to drop out, and it looks like Federer is the one to be doing that. The 2 tournaments he's dropped out of, just to clarify, are
this is the National Bank Open, which is the Toronto one,
the Canada Open.
That's it, right? And the other one is Cincinnati as well.
Yep.
And we know there's been some other people dropping out of Toronto as well. We'll go through those in a little bit. No, he came out and said, I heard that there was like a sort of statement from his team that they said it was a problem with the knee in Wimbledon. They said they got the same problem, had rediscovered itself again. He said he was starting to feel the same sort of pains again after the surgeries, and unfortunately we saw he was sort of came to a bit of a lackluster end at Wimbledon, and it was due to that. He was feeling the pain, and unfortunately it's back again, and he wants to play that US Open, but unfortunately that looks like it may be one bridge too far at the moment, I think, for Roger Federer. I'm sad because I wanted to see him. It's the 2020. This is the one we're all waiting for.
I think he'll play the US Open regardless of this.
Sure.
I know he's withdrawn from these, but I think he's probably going to save himself for the Grand Slam. Whether or not he can make the whole tournament, obviously we saw Roland Garros. He got more or less just over half the way through, then pulled out before he played Berrettini. Was really disappointed with that, but we understand he was listening to his body. Right now, listening to his body again. The big thing, what it sort of symbolises for me, is the fact that Federer is coming to the end. And there's a few people reaching out to me saying the same thing. It just seems now it's very real that he's on the verge of retiring. I have that feeling.
Sad, isn't it?
And I'm not sure how long we have of watching Federer. The one thing I would sort of point to is in Wimbledon, what was the match he played before Hurkacz?
The match he played before Hurkacz was, I'll just bring this up, it was Sonego.
He looked great, didn't he? He played really well. In the one before as well, he was amazing. There's some really good spells. The Gasquet one was great as well. And we saw shades of him being back to his best. And you've got to remember, only in 2019, he made the Wimbledon final. And you know how historic that was. He almost won that. He had a few match points, couldn't take it. So it's not that far away from where he was looking great. And then we've seen shades of that recently at Wimbledon. And even shades at Roland Garros. I thought against Cilic, he was pretty good there. And did obviously brilliantly against Koepfer at times, because Koepfer's a good player. Yes. But you just still feel that he's breaking boundaries. To be playing at the top of the game at 39, it's just so difficult. With all the injuries he's had to sort of overcome. And this knee one now seems to be very kind of final in terms of he's not going to be able to shake it off. It's not going to be an injury which is going to go away. I think for his whole career, he's going to have to either play with the knee. He's going to have to just play with the knee injury or retire. And I think it's hopefully just going to be well enough that he can play. The big thing for me is I don't want the injury to dictate when he has to say enough's enough. I would like him to be in a well state and then say, you know what, I'm going to retire now, and just leave with my head held high, knowing that I left in an all right sort of state. But I don't think it's not something he can control.
I totally agree, and that's actually exactly how I was feeling earlier on when I heard the news. That sort of end to someone's career when they're such a great player, you want to be remembered for all the greatness, and you don't. It's not nice to see somebody who is great and still is great at the moment. You don't want to see them in the next 2 years dropping down and barely winning in ATP 500s and losing to all the young players on the tour. And it's just like fizzles all out, and everybody, you're just there as just a face. Then you're not even there in like a very good capacity tennis wise. You just want to see people make the right decisions at the right time. We're not telling him to make any decisions because I'd love to see him play if he can still play at the top level. We saw he got to the quarterfinals of Wimbledon, still very, very able to compete with some of the best players in the world. It just worries me that he had a double knee surgery, and that is, one knee surgery is bad enough, but to have two knee surgeries, it's near career ending. Like, you can probably ask someone like Andy Murray, and he's a lot younger. He's had hip surgery. It's these type of surgeries are when it's all on the joints and it's all in these really serious areas of your body. It takes everything out of you, and to try and get back to the top of the sport, I think it's nearly impossible.
Yeah,
I mean, we saw Rafa was able to come back to the top of the sport after he had all of his problems with his knees, but that he was younger though, so he was able to come back to the top of the sport.
He had more time, didn't he?
Exactly right, yeah. So you see, and now even Rafa now seems to be having more problems more frequently though, and I'm not as worried for him because I think it's just a matter of rest and then recover and back.
For me, that foot injury is nothing that serious. He come out and said it's just something he needs to try and shake off a little bit. Of course, there's a lot of pain when he's playing, but it doesn't seem something which is of the same severity as, say, Federer's knee. I just want to go through the chat and say shout out to Thomas Rock for the super sticker.
Cheers,
apologies,
Tom.
we did see that earlier. Thanks for that one. And we've got some other chats in here. We've got Liam saying quality will always be there, but the body can't go on forever. And there's a lot of people here talking about whether he's going to play the US Open or not. I know I come out on a whim and said I reckon he is going to play. What about you?
Sure. I don't think he will.
You don't think he will?
I think I think this is a horrible lead up because he's not even going to have any practice leading up to the US Open now. And if he does go in, he might not even last a round or a couple of rounds if he's not in good shape. If his movement around the court is compromised, it's going to be horrible to watch. I don't want to watch Roger Federer go to the US Open if he can barely move around the court. That's no fun.
Mate, I don't think he's going to get many more shots at it, though. So that's why I think he is going to go there. I'm not sure if he's going to get through the whole tournament. Hopefully the injury can sort of stay away for a bit and he can get through it. Because it'll be great to see him playing. I can come out and confidently say this statement, though. I really believe in this now. And it's quite sad what I'm going to say. We're never going to see him win a Grand Slam. I know we had a lot of talk about can he snatch another Wimbledon. I'm pretty convinced now that he's not going to win a Grand Slam. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. I would love it to happen. I don't want people to say, "Oh, he goes win one." Oh, JG must be upset. No, I'll be ecstatic if he can. I'm pretty 95% certain Federer will not win a Grand Slam anymore. It seems like a real certainty almost for me. And the worst part about it is the fact that Anna's here saying I've been watching Federer for about 20 years. It's going to be weird without him. Where are we going to be with the sport of tennis after Federer? Because a lot of people who don't necessarily watch too much tennis, if you was to say a name, everyone knows who Roger Federer is. It doesn't matter who it is. Your nan, your granddad, anyone knows who Roger Federer is. And what is the sport? What position is the sport going to be without someone so pivotal and bringing eyes on the sport who necessarily wouldn't always watch it? He helps fund it. He helps the sport grow. I'm sure he helps with the grassroots as well. He inspires people. Is there sort of that next gen coming through who can sort of, I don't want to say replicate Federer because I don't think anyone will be able to.
No.
But can someone do half a job of what he can?
I don't know. It's a very tall order because he's revolutionized the game. This is the guy who everybody thinks tennis, and then there's only one face that pops up for most people, and it's Roger Federer. And that's just the neutral I'm talking about. I'm not talking about everyday tennis fans. I'm talking about the average Joe Bloggs walking down the street. You stop him and you say tennis, he says Roger Federer. That's how big this guy is. He's bigger than life. He's got so many endorsements. He's literally everywhere. He's on billboards, he's on TV programs, he's on adverts.
Well, you could say maybe one of the most famous sports people of all time across any sport.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, he's the highest paid male athlete for however many years. Yeah. And it's no surprise as well. He's a very marketable person, and he sort of handled himself admirably across his whole career as well. He's had little spells here and there, but who hasn't? But the way he's conducted himself over his whole career has been exemplary. And that's why everybody loves going to see him. And it's his style of play as well. Will we get to see someone
natural? I don't think we'll see anyone as naturally good as him. I know we sometimes say Sinner, he's very natural, but there's levels to this game, and Federer's in his own league completely with it. Hopefully we can have a young player sort of replicate that style and become as great as what he did, but it's a tall order. It really is. We've got Vance there saying the dimension Fed brings to the game will sorely be missed when he's gone. Yeah, it certainly will. And Liam saying if he won Wimby in 2019, he would have retired. Now I'm sure he's craving a last Grand Slam win. It's addictive, and I can understand what he means by that. It certainly is like an addiction. When you're at the top of the game, you know that he's won 20, and he knows that obviously, and he's thinking, can I just win one more? And it's always going to be one more. But this next one is definitely the biggest one out of all of them, because it sets you'll be the first person to reach the number 21.
Yes, number 21 is the big one. And
in 2021, maybe.
If he could get it. I don't think it's that likely, though. I feel a bit sorry for Switzerland in a way, because they've got their two best players, and they both 39 and 36 years old. Obviously, Stan Wawrinka as well, their other top player, and they're both sort of coming towards the end of their careers now. And after that, where is Swiss tennis then? Like, who's the next person coming along?
Huesler.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Too, but they're not on the same league. It's I don't think Switzerland really is a big tennis nation. Has it been? Like, you wouldn't expect it to be. It's quite a small country. I think we're not going to see many big stars coming out of Switzerland in the next few years. But Stricker does look good, but I don't think he's going to be on the same level, if I'm honest. What else was I going to say? There's something in the chat I wanted to bring up. We've got Vance that said, I think whether he wins a slam or not, 2022 will be the last year. I think 2022 is what I'm thinking as well.
Yeah, I think I don't think you can compete. All of these, we already just did the podcast earlier and just saying the younger players are just getting better and better as well. So it just it's such a tall order to win a Grand Slam at the best of times. He's just managed to get to the quarters now, whilst everyone's, I don't know, caught a little bit cold with COVID, and he's able to hit the court running quicker than other players, I think, at the moment. Whereas once everybody's had a whole year of tennis, and if he's out on the sidelines again, I can't see him coming back into the mix again and suddenly just blowing everyone off the court. I think everyone's going to be into their next level of their career again, and another 6 months stronger. And it's worrying times. Obviously, we saw what Hurkacz did to him at Wimbledon. It was a bit of a demolition job. He bageled him in the final set, and you've never seen that before against Roger Federer, but he would never give up. That's the thing that you've got to love about him. He would never retire in any tennis match.
Yeah, I just want to say shout out to Hingis as well.
Yes,
good Swiss player, but obviously on the women's.
Fantastic. Yeah. On the women's side, obviously got Leonie Kung. She's probably going to be the next. I'd say she's still got a long way to go though, but she's promising.
Yeah, she's way down there at the moment, but could do something great. I know you've got a screenshot there of the Canada Open, the Canadian Open, which is coming up soon. The first one, which I believe it's to be played from August the 6th to the 15th this year. And Roger Federer is not going to be there, and there's a few other high-profile names who aren't going to be there as well. So obviously you can see here, Berrettini, he withdrew from the Olympics after the final of Wimbledon. He's out now of this one as well. So that's a bit concerning. Not sure what's really up with him. I know he did say something about an injury after the match against Djokovic, and I think during it he was suffering a little bit in times, which just kind of shows to me if a fully fit Berrettini, he can really do a lot of damage on tour. He's an awesome player. He's
definitely
so dangerous, especially on grass. I think he's shown that already. I'd watch out for him. He's going to be my dark horse 100% for next year's Wimbledon if he's fit. You got Djokovic, obviously. He said he's not going to be playing this one. Federer just happened. Team's nowhere near it. Raonic is a recent one. I saw he put a tweet out. An injury. Difficult one for him. Obviously playing in Canada. He would have loved to have been there. Stan Wawrinka, you've touched on. Not sure when we're going to see him back, if at all. He's struggling big time. And another recent one, Zverev. And that is a really good one for sort of the race. I don't say race. It's not the race to Turin, more the top 10. Because Federer, Nadal can be caught. And he was hoping that Zverev could play this tournament so he can actually gain some extra points to catch him. But not the case. And Korda has been quite fortunate to be allowed, a replacement.
Yeah.
To be his replacement.
Well, I think it's good. Obviously, Korda went out of Washington earlier on today, being beaten by being beaten by, who was it? Sinner. Sorry, that was it. I'm getting confused. We were talking about all the Americans earlier. Brooksby went through as well. He beat Felix. So some interesting results. Zverev's the one which I was a bit disappointed. I was really looking forward to seeing him playing in this one. Thought he might be able to add a few more points to his tally, just leading up to, obviously, Cincinnati is probably his main focus. Maybe he thinks he has a better chance of winning Cincinnati if he doesn't play this one. So I don't know. I don't know the logic in it. I thought he might try and tackle both, but maybe both back to back is a little bit too much to ask. And then the US Open, I'm not sure. Maybe obviously he's just played the Olympics. He's probably listening to his body the same as a lot of other people. I just wanted to touch on one of these comments there. I see Massimo saying Federer should consider undergoing stem cell surgery on his knee at this point. Nadal did the same thing 8 years ago, if I remember correctly. I think that's a really good point, actually. There's been a lot of advances in stem cell research and in these injections and stuff that they can put into joints. Like I know Joe Rogan, he talks about it a lot on his podcast, saying that he had real bad shoulder problems. And they were just telling him he needed surgery. He needed.
What's the time scale for something like this, though? Is it not a long process?
Well, I think that it will take time to regenerate all of the cells and stuff, but it's quicker than if you actually have to go under the knife and have them completely hack you apart and rebuild.
The reason I say, mate, time's not on his side. I don't know if he's got much time to be.
I think it's quicker than going.
He probably should have done it at the start of COVID.
Definitely should have done. I don't know. Maybe he has been, but we don't know what goes on behind the closed doors, really, in the surgery room of Roger Federer. I'm sure that's well kept under wraps. We don't. He probably won't want to know or give any weakness away of any of his joints in his body. I'm sure that's probably not the only thing which is causing him problems. His knee. There probably is other little bits and pieces, I'm sure, that we don't know about.
Mate, I agree with Liam that it's just not worth doing it now. It's just too late. For me, he just got to try and find a way to either play with it or this is the end. I really do believe it. I know we've got Pat Carr there saying maybe he'll end his career at Wimbledon next year. That, for me, is what I envision in my head. 2022, Federer, Wimbledon, centre court, waving, the fans will be back, COVID's lifted. And I can just kind of envision something there. Imagine if he wins Wimbledon on his send. I think that would just be ridiculous. But I don't think it's going to happen. It's probably going to be a second round match. He might lose, and it's going to be a big occasion. Doesn't matter if he wins or loses, really.
Oh, there's part of me that thinks surely, like, that there's obviously sports people. They get these. I don't know if they're like injection. They can numb parts of your body. Maybe if he can go through a whole tournament just receiving this whatever numbing agent he can get for a whole tournament, and then his his knee might fall apart after the tournament, and he just goes, "I'm just going to take it if I can win one more."
But then what about if he can't walk then afterwards?
He'd say, "It was worth it. I got to 21." I don't know. This is it. It's all a risk because you could find yourself struggling in your later years. Then whatever you put. All that
I think
pressure.
A lot of the big sports stars do across a lot of different disciplines and sports. When they get older, they do really struggle with their bodies. I know rugby, it's come to light with their head injuries recently. Same with the NFL. I think that's a kind of a different thing as well. But I'm sure there's certain stuff with tennis players with arthritis, maybe their wrists, and other common things, which is more prone.
God, I bet some of those people with those harsh top spins, there's a lot of torque goes into your wrist and your hands, and I can imagine they're probably going to have some sort of arthritic fingers in later life with all of that work they're doing. It's probably only going to be mainly on one hand though, which is the crazy thing, isn't it? But
unless you can do a forehand from both sides.
Well, this is the new breed. This is what we're gonna. Maybe there'll be less arthritic hands as they play with both forehand with both hands. So who knows? I think that's a good way to avoid it. To be honest, trying to minimize the one hand using the racket too often. But,
we got John there suggesting cortisone. You got Gnocchi, how we doing, mate? And even as a Novak fan, I think Roger deserves a proper farewell. I think we should see hopefully some kind of event to sort of commemorate him retiring. I'm not sure if it happens too much in tennis, but even if it's like one big like exhibition, get Rafa down, get a few other big legends. I don't know. I think something has to happen for Federer retiring. I don't think we can just have him say a final send off at Wimbledon and that's it. I want to see like a big sort of celebration. Tournament. Just do a Roger Federer Open or something.
Oh, maybe that'd be nice. Yeah. Just have like how about this? The first ever will be his last ever tournament. The first ever grass court Masters. How about that?
Yeah,
I think that'd be perfect. The Roger Federer Open is
after he's retired,
No, but he could compete in the first one ever, and then it gets named after him, and so it's gone. And maybe they host it in Switzerland or something. Maybe they've already got some in Switzerland, but just thinking if it's for Roger Federer, maybe that's the best place to be holding it.
Well, I think we'll wrap it up there.
Rafa's on at the moment, mate.
We've got Rafa on right now. I might watch a little bit of that and then head to bed. Obviously, was up late yesterday. We just thought we had to bring you this news because Federer has withdrawn from the upcoming event. Is he going to be playing the US Open? You say no. I say yes. Let's see what happens, though. Hopefully, rest up, Roger. I know you're watching. You love a bit of game to love. Hopefully, you're feeling a little bit better. And we'll see you very soon. And I'm not wishing a retirement on him, but it feels very close. It really does.
Yeah, and get a statement out at some point if you can.
Yeah, Ben's got a good one, if not.
Yeah, we'll use Djokovic's otherwise.
Yeah. Anyway, good night, guys. If you haven't already, like the video, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you very soon.
Cheers, guys.